Hello, everybody. We are here in our first soccer podcast for New York Sports Hub. My name is Skylar Darel. I am the editor for this World Cup coverage that we're going to be giving you unprecedented coverage. We're going to cover every match, every moment. We're going to have it all here for you. Right now, we're going to cover some of the groups of the World Cup. Right now, we're just going to go over the big ones, the real marquee groups. There are several of those, obviously, when you look at the group of death. I think there are three groups that you can really consider the group of death. And we're going to start with Group B. That's our first group of death. You have Spain, the defending world champions, and the two-time defending European champions. You have the Netherlands, who were the runners-up 4 years ago. They lost to Spain. You have Chile, who are in their home continent of South America, and they also have a deep squad. And you have Australia and the Socceroos, who have some good players, but really are the underdog in this group. And when you look at this group, the name that sticks out at you, obviously, is Spain. They have so much quality on their team. They have so much experience. When you look at the starting 11 that started the World Cup final last year, you have guys back like Andres Iniesta and Xavi and Gerard Piqué and Sergio Ramos and the keeper Iker Casillas. But you also have an infusion of youth in this team. Jordi Alba wasn't there 4 years ago. He's starting at left back. Cesar Azpilicueta at right back. Diego Costa is the big name. Everyone's talking about the striker from Atletico Madrid who should play a big role up front for the Spaniards. And you also have other players, Cesc Fabregas and Pedro and Sergio Busquets. So this Spanish team is so deep, and when I look at them, I don't really see a weakness. Attack could be one if Costa's not healthy, but you do have David Villa and Torres, and you can also go with a false nine like Cesc Fabregas. So I think Spain are so loaded, and they really shouldn't have any issues advancing from this group. I think they'll get 7 points. I think they're going to draw either the Netherlands or Chile, probably Chile, and then they're going to defeat the Dutch and the Australians. I think the big debate in this group is between the Dutch and the Chileans, obviously. These two sides are very good. The Dutch are led by their manager, Louis van Gaal, who is leaving after the World Cup for Manchester United. When you look at the squad, it's very different from the squad that was at the forefront of the world 4 years ago. Obviously, they have their big attacking threats left. They have Robin van Persie, they have Wesley Sneijder, they have Arjen Robben. But other than that, this is a very different team. Their defense is completely different. They have a new goalkeeper, Michael Vorm from Swansea City, who, he played well in the Premier League this year, but at 30 years old, you wonder if he's going to be a reliable option, and the defense is just so young and so inexperienced. And in a group with Spain, it'll be difficult to see how they will fare against such a dominant side. So I think the Dutch are definitely susceptible to dropping out of this group. And then you look at the Chileans, led by Jorge Sampaoli. They have a good squad. They have two really, really solid players, Alexis Sanchez, who plays for Barcelona, and Arturo Vidal, who plays for Juventus. Those guys are absolute superstars. I think Sanchez scoring goals and Vidal driving the midfield. They're so dangerous to stop. And then, of course, Claudio Bravo, 31 years old. He's a fantastic goalkeeper for Real Sociedad. So when you look at those two sides, it's really hard to tell who's going to win. Obviously, the Dutch have more quality and more experience, but the Chileans are playing in their home continent, and they have the benefit of playing Australia first and getting 3 points and getting off to that good start. But it's all going to come down to the last match, as we can anticipate, between Chile and the Netherlands. And I do think that Chile is going to win and advance. So my last prediction for Group B, Spain's going to finish with 7 points. So is Chile, but based on goal differential, Spain will advance first. The Dutch will come in third place, and the Australians will come in fourth. I think they're going to lose all 3 of their games. So that's the first potential group of death. And then we move to Group D. And Group D, we have 3 fantastic teams and one team that's not as good. Costa Rica is obviously the team that isn't as marquee, but they are a very difficult side to defend. When you look at the players they have, Joel Campbell, Brian Ruiz, Brian Oviedo, they have some quality there. And then you have the 3 marquee teams, Uruguay, Italy, and England. Now, Uruguay, the big story about them is obviously Luis Suarez. He scored 31 goals for Liverpool this season, which is tied with Cristiano Ronaldo for the most in Europe. He had an absolutely incredible season, but he's coming in nursing a knee injury. And as you know about Uruguay, it's all about the attack, and Suarez and Edison Cavani and Diego Forlan. So without Suarez there, I don't know if they're going to get any production, and their defense is very, very leaky. Italy, on the other hand, just had a big injury. They lost Ricardo Montolivo for the tournament with a broken leg, so it's going to be interesting to see how they can replace him. And England are such a young team. Lampard and Gerrard and Rooney are their only real experienced players, and the rest of them are young. Raheem Sterling, Ross Barkley, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jordan Henderson, Daniel Sturridge. All these guys are young. They're inexperienced, and under Roy Hodgson, it'll be interesting to see how they fare under the pressure. I think England are going to advance. I really do. I think that they're going to go in to the last game against Costa Rica, and they're going to say, if we win this game, we're through. And I think England will take that. I mean, they have a tough group, and I think on paper they're probably not as good as Italy and Uruguay, but I do think that that last match against Costa Rica will propel them through, and I think that Italy are going to finish first in the group because of Suarez's injury. Italy, the question is, they play all three of their games in the most hot climate, and climate really affects the Italians because they are used to playing in a chillier Italy. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare, but they have such good players. Andrea Pirlo, Mario Balotelli, Gianluigi Buffon, Giorgio Chiellini. They're so experienced. They won it 8 years ago, and I think they're going to advance. So I think England and Italy are through. And finally, the last group we're going to cover is going to obviously be Group G, and that's the group the United States is in. It's the United States, Ghana, Germany, Portugal, and it's just such an intimidating group when you look at it. Germany might be the best team in the world on paper. Overall, there's no real weaknesses there, and if they hadn't been decimated by injuries, they should be favorites to win the tournament. Portugal, the world's best player right now, Cristiano Ronaldo, Champions League winner for Real Madrid. Just an outstanding talent, and he surpassed Messi this year as the best player in the world. And then Ghana, the absolute best African side, hands down, in the tournament. They have such good quality there. So the United States, it's going to be an uphill battle for them. Is it possible that they advance? Yes, because they have the easiest schedule, and easy being relative because they go up the ladder. Ghana, Portugal, and then Germany. And you think that, when they play Germany in the final game, we don't know if there's going to be an incentive for the Germans to put their best foot forward because they might have already clinched a spot in the round of 16. But I definitely think Germany are going to advance. I think they're so talented, especially in the midfield. When you look at it, Mesut Ozil, Thomas Muller, Marco Reus, Bastian Schweinsteiger. They're so stacked, and the only issue might be at forward because Miroslav Klose is 35 years old, but he's still got it. I really think he does. And even if he doesn't, they could put Muller up front or Podolski, or they can use a false nine like Spain do. There's so many options, and there's such a versatile team that even I think they're going to be able to overcome their injuries and advance first in the group. And then I think that Portugal are going to finish second. I think Ronaldo will single-handedly propel them through. They have a decent team around Ronaldo, but it's not as good as you'd like. Nani underperformed this year for Manchester United, João Moutinho, Raul Morales for some other guys, Pepe. But overall, they're better than Ghana, the United States, and that's why I think they'll advance. Ghana, they have some good attacking players, Kevin Prince Boateng, Asamoah Gyan, but I don't know about their defense and how it's going to hold up against these attacking sides. And then the United States, they're a good story, and I really feel bad for them because they played so well in qualifying under Jurgen Klinsmann, but it's such a difficult group, and I think that they're going to give it their best, but without Landon Donovan and with just an overall lack of quality, I really don't think they're going to be able to advance. So I think that the two people who advance in this group will be Germany and Portugal. Quickly going over the rest of the groups, I think Group A, Brazil will advance, Mexico will finish second, and then Croatia and Cameroon will be eliminated. Group C, Colombia, Greece, Ivory Coast, Japan. I think that the last two, Ivory Coast and Japan, will finish top. Switzerland and France will finish top their group, which also features Ecuador and Honduras. Argentina and Bosnia and Herzegovina will go through over Iran and Nigeria, and then Belgium and Russia will be victorious over Algeria and Korea Republic. If you have any other thoughts about who will advance in these three groups of death, Group B, D, or G, please let us know in the comments. Thank you. I'm Skylar Darel again, and please tune in to New York Sports Hub for our World Cup coverage.